like cabbages and key. When you're not a snack, so you have to eat snacks. All this conspiracy theorizing is making me hangry. Just call me Peekaboo. Peekabo. Bebo? What the heck is his name? More Pico! Just call me more Pico. What's going on, guys? Welcome back to my channel. My name is the Val Pal, and this is a video that, for once, I have fans and they have requested something. Okay, wait. I have to activate my spoopy mode. I am so excited to bring you guys the sequel to my first Animal Crossing conspiracy theory video. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, this is my second Animal Crossing conspiracy theory video. Is Isabelle evil? Are the spirits of dead villagers actually living in the bodies of other villagers? Are Tom Nook and Red the kings of the mafia? You are about to find out that Animal Crossing is not as innocent as Nintendo and its creators would like you to believe. If you guys haven't seen my first video on Animal Crossing conspiracy theories, go ahead and check that out in the description down below. So without further ado, let me go ahead and whip open my notes on my phone and let's go ahead and get started. I did this last time, so I'm going to refrain from doing it again, using both of my phalanges. Conspiracy theory number 1. This is the theory that Pete, the mailman, and Pelly are actually married, and their daughter is Phyllis. Some people believe this theory because in the first Animal Crossing game that was released on the GameCube, you can catch him quite a few times asking about how Phyllis's day is going, leading people to believe that maybe it's his daughter, and maybe they don't have the greatest connection or don't get to see each other very often since she works the night shift, and he's just curious to see how her day is going. This theory, of course, is debunked by the fact that Pete and Pelly and Phyllis are actually all in a love triangle. The reason this is fact and not theory is because in many of the Animal Crossing games, it is confirmed by all of the characters that this is the case via dialogue in the Roost, dialogue while Pete is on his mail routes, and dialogue with Pelly as she is in the office as well as at the Roost. Pete is actually in love with Phyllis, whose little sister is Pelly, and Phyllis likes Pete, but since her little sister Pelly has a crush on Pete, she decides to not pursue anything with Pete. But wait, it doesn't stop there. With this dialogue that you can partake in or listen in on with Phyllis at the Roost, she is also overheard speaking to Brewster and telling him that he is the only one who understands her. So that is the theory that Phyllis actually doesn't like Pete, and she is much more fond of her pigeon pal, Brewster. Conspiracy theory, oh, now I can use both of my arms. Number 2. Gracie, the fashion designer, is actually transgender. So in the original release of the first Animal Crossing games, in Japan specifically, they actually used the pronouns he and him to describe Gracie, which in that game would then make his gender male. In the American version of the first Animal Crossing, the pronouns for Gracie are she and her. So this leads us to question whether Gracie is a female or a male, or if Gracie is actually transgender. At the end of the day, does it really matter? No. Gracie can be whatever the heck Gracie wants to be, but theories are fun. Conspiracy theory number 3. If you watched my last video, and if you didn't, the link is down below in my description, and somewhere up here. I did touch on the theory that your Animal Crossing village is actually a mental health care facility. And in this mental health care facility, you have a lot of hallucinations. To add on to that theory, some people believe that the tarantulas and scorpions are actually your medicine that Tom Nook is administering to you, that you need to be taking while you are in this mental health care facility. To add on top of that, a little snowball effect, Some people actually believe that your villagers are actually workers at the mental health care facility. How many times did I just say actually? And they are paid to make you believe that your village is just that, a village, a facade. Their job is to trick you. Conspiracy theory number 4. This is another theory that is going to be piggybacking off of one of my theories I mentioned in my previous video, which is the theory that gyroids are actually dead villagers. Now, where do these dead villager spirits go exactly? Is there an afterlife? Will you actually be haunted by these gyroids? The answer is yes! According to this theory, of course. This is the theory that the spirits from those gyroids and dead villagers are actually inhabiting the bodies of the following villagers, which are Stitches and Hopkins. Potentially Zipper T Bunny. I am suspicious. Both Stitches and Hopkins are two out of the ordinary villagers. Hopkins can be seen here with a blow-up nozzle on the back of his head. Many villagers, if you speak to them regarding Hopkins, warn you that he cannot be trusted and he is always full of hot air. I think the villagers might be onto something, insinuating that Hopkins is probably not a real villager. Again, I am suspicious. Stitches, on the other hand, is not the same, but similar. He is actually seen being held together by that exactly, Stitches. And from what seem to be pieces of different little animals or maybe stuffed bears that he decided to patch together like a flippin' quilt and stuff himself with stuffing. So if they're not real animals, Hopkins is full of hot air and Stitches is full of stuffing, how does one exactly explain their animal-like tendencies, mannerisms, and capabilities? Because it's a ghost, y'all! It's a flippin' ghost, y'all! Conspiracy theory number 5. Now I will admit that this one is a little bit of a stretch. Actually, a lot of a stretch. But you know what? I'll let you be the judge. This is the theory that Tom Nook and Red are actually partners. Partners in crime. So here's how this theory actually unfolds. Tom Nook charges you so much for rent and for supplies, so much money that he actually takes a fraction of what you paid to him, gives it to Red. Red then uses that money from Tom Nook to then create and or buy counterfeit artifacts, whether that be statues or paintings. You can count on Red that they are probably fake. Red then takes those counterfeit products and flips them for quite a big profit, and him and Tom Nook bathe in pools and pools and pools and pools of bells and your hard-earned cash. Let's talk a little bit more about Red as well. Some people believe that he has villagers working on the inside for him. These villagers have actually stolen all of the artifacts from the museum, which then causes you to go back and purchase all of those artifacts from Red to then restock the museum and put it back to all of its previous glory. If you recall, in Animal Crossing City Folk and New Leaf, there is a villager that is part of this brotherhood, who then spikes your interest in such brotherhood. So much so that you want to be a part of this brotherhood. This villager entices you so much that you will actually take it upon yourself to make sure that you are a VIP of this group. Little did you know, that villager was not part of any sort of brotherhood. He was just working for Red, who was out recruiting such gullible villagers like yourself. And yes, I will plead guilty to that following statement. I will take a stand for the gullible and say, they got me. This brings me to my last theory. Why am I suddenly a game show host? This is conspiracy theory number 6. The theory that Isabel is actually the mayor and you are her puppet. There are sirens outside, so I'm gonna take this opportunity. And now I'm getting flippin' thirsty. Your thirst can never be quenched! So let's go ahead and dive right into this theory. It all starts when you first arrive at your village. Isabel confronts you, asking if you're the mayor. You are not, but since she expresses to you that the person who is supposed to be mayor decided to pull a fast one and not show up, you decide to be quite ambiguous and take on this role. From then on out, you are nothing but a slave to Isabel. Not only does she control your public works projects, your options for your public works projects, and where you can place public works project, she also controls these special events for your public works projects. Not only that, but she is the only one who is seen 24/7 in that little town hall office. And the second you take a step behind the counter to speak to her, she tells you have to be back on the other side in order to ask her any sort of questions, leading us to believe she could be hiding something. So you're probably wondering how. Let's take a step back. Since villagers were not too fond of Isabel to begin with, and neither was previous Mayor Tortimer, considering he didn't hire her to be the next mayor of the town, she decided to pay him off with a flippin' island. Either Tortimer Island is an island that Tortimer bought with the money that Isabel paid him off with, or she paid him off with just that, a private island. And Tortimer is stuck there because the only means of transportation between the mainland and Tortimer Island is Cap'n. And you know where Cap'n spends most of his time? At the dock in your town. So, at the end of the day, Isabel conspired this whole plan to make you the mayor. She actually reached out to whoever was going to be the next mayor and told them not to come, canceled their train trip, and then took advantage of the opportunity that she had in front of her so that she could run the town how she wanted to, but through you. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you guys want to see more or any sort of conspiracy theories on any other sort of video games, let me know in the comments down below. Let me know what you think about these theories, and if you have any of your own or anything to add on to any of them, because I am genuinely curious. Don't forget to subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Until then, peace out.